I love that you not only have to buy the nods themselves, but also the right mount for your helmet. Alright, let's try them out. Oh yeah, from my experience, this looks really authentic, even down to the sparkle and the light tube. This feels pretty legit.
Yeah, these nods are pretty realistic.
It's kind of amazing and also kind of sucks to look through, just like real life.
Oh, that's pretty sweet, Dave. Your eyes are glowing with the nods. Like, come look at me.
I gotta see this.
Yeah, that is pretty cool.
Oh, that is very cool. You got your aviators on with your nuts.
I need this style.
One of this year's most hyped and most anticipated tactical FPS games has been hit with a lot of mixed reviews recently. It's been a long time since this game got any real substantial updates, but all of that is changing this week with the launch of a huge new patch adding a day-night cycle and some of the best and most convincing night vision that I've ever seen portrayed in a game. These things are so authentic that they can even auto-gate and shut down if they're hit with laser light or some other bright light source that can damage the tubes. I don't think I've ever seen that in a game before.
Good.
I got it, keep going.
Oh, that's you. I was under nods and I couldn't tell.
You lasered my nods and they went into emergency shutdown. That was pretty cool.
Really?
It's been a bit of a roller coaster here for Gray Zone Warfare. After an incredibly successful launch back in the spring, this game was riding on the heels of a very successful streamer and content creator test, and at the time, a lot of people were really upset with a lot of the missteps that were going on with Escape from Tarkov, and they were looking for the next big thing in PvPvE tactical shooters, and Gray Zone came out swinging by just being solid right out the gate for early access. The developers, Madfinger Games, have talked about how they were basically depleted on their budget back in the spring, and a successful early access launch was really all that they had in their arsenal for keeping the production of the game going.
I don't see you guys soon.
Told them.
The effects look really good when you're firing. Like the smoke around the gun.
Yeah.
Looks realistic.
And by all accounts, it was a successful launch, despite having performance issues and, of course, the missing content that comes with an early access game like this. As for me, though, I'm in the same boat with a lot of you patient gamers out there who are always waiting for a 1.0 release or a good sale. I do YouTube here on the side, so I have to be really picky with my schedule. I work a full-time job, got a family to take care of, and so the surprise launch of Gray Zone actually really worked against me. I just couldn't make time for it back in April. So the biggest complaint that the fans of this game have had since its successful launch back in the spring was just how long it's taking for new content to drop. But that doesn't really affect me because here I am trying it for the first time, and the first impressions are really good. I'm not dealing with the performance issues that a lot of players had back in the spring. In fact, what I'm seeing here in my private preview test with me and Mikey and Edgar, my performance is roughly about double what a lot of people experienced back in the spring when the game first hit early access. That's pretty impressive, and the game just looks gorgeous. I again am coming from thousands of hours in the Arma franchise, and while I love the Arma games, until Arma Reforger recently, they were not the most incredible looking games. Sure, great at scale, but visually just a bit behind the curve. You can tell that they are simulator-based games. But this game, Gray Zone Warfare, is on Unreal Engine 5, and boy, you can tell. It has some of the best looking, most interactive, and densest vegetation that I have ever seen in a game like this, and now with the full day-night cycle, the nighttime fights, especially the PvP, as you're going to be hunting players at night in those claustrophobic jungles, the visual clutter is going to make things even more harrowing at night because, like real night vision goggles, they are not great at picking up the details, even under direct moonlight. You're going to be having some panicky, muddied nod tube fights in this game.
Is it a crashed helicopter?
You find it?
Yeah, it's right here. There is one here. I don't know if there's a report findings yet.
There it
Yeah,
is.
then we'll have to go to a town.
Find out what happened.
It's kind of crazy. It looks this good, like, especially at distance, and like foliage is as thick as it is, even at distance, and grass at distance, and it still runs this good.
There's like no tree pop in either, which is crazy.
Yeah.
There's a guy right southeast on that compound there.
This is insanely polished for an unfinished game.
That's what I'm saying. Everyone was hating on it when it first came out, but I thought it was pretty good for. Where is it? Oh, search body. Okay, yeah, you just have to search his body, and then you get the proof, and then we're ready to
There was a guy watching you guys from way back down the street.
Really?
I thought it was a teammate because he was eyeballing you guys so hard. Unlike Escape from Tarkov, though, you're probably not going to be diving into PvP fights right away. The map is very carefully divided into some starter villages, where at first, when you're accepting your missions from your vendors, you're going to be fighting around areas that are designed just to be for your faction, and there are 3 different factions and 3 different starting areas for each faction in this game. That's not to say that PvP isn't an option for those starter areas, but by design, the enemy factions can't just catch a chopper ride and camp your town's starting village. They're going to have to hoof it on the ground if they want to try and get those freshy kills in that first village. It's possible, but especially on our smaller scale playtest here on a private preview server that we were invited to try the game out on, we didn't see any of that camping. From following the support creator chat for this playtest, though, it looks like there were some servers, especially I think the US West, that did have some little bit of camping and PvP action there in those starting villages, but our server was pretty quiet. I'm pretty sure we got no actual player kills in the footage that you're seeing here. I think this was all AI, but we had a couple of close encounters, I believe, as we began to branch out and explore some other parts of the map. But just expect that in this game you're going to have some intentionally less intense PvE areas, which is not to say that the AI still can't completely John Wick you without warning. Oh, this is a guy right down the street from us, by the way. His buddy saw. Oh, I'm down.
Okay.
Middle of the street, not a great place to be.
I'll come save your ass. Hopefully I don't get shot. Where were they at?
Down the street, the way we hadn't cleared yet, basically.
Okay, I'm examining you. Okay. You have organ injury and slight blood loss. Okay, let me fix this for you, Dave.
Patch me up, Doc. From following this game since its initial launch back in April to now, one of the most consistent complaints that I've seen from people who have been playing it since that first launch is that the AI can be very, very unpredictable. They can swing very hard from extremely accurate and deadly to being basically brain dead. And I have to say that I definitely had some of those completely lobotomized AI moments in our playtest, but only a couple of times. I went through some of the other videos that people have shared from the Gray Zone Warfare early access launch back in April, and it definitely looks like that the AI has improved overall. They are far more consistent, but I think perhaps server performance is what's leading to still just occasional issues where they basically completely shut down. This is an issue with AI specifically that I've seen with multiple early access titles. DayZ, Ready or Not. These are games where you're dealing with the AI enemies quite a bit, and server performance and improvements to the AI themselves has been core to making those games better. Ready or Not had very similar issues compared to the launch version of Gray Zone Warfare here, where it had either the John Wick AI or the Nobody's Home AI, and they have made great strides with their performance, so it's good to see that Gray Zone Warfare appears to be on a similar path to their own improvements. One thing that I really appreciated about this game was it was a almost relaxing tone compared to Tarkov. There isn't quite as much gear fear. Wipes aren't as big of a deal in this game. I mean, it's early access, even more so than Tarkov still, so that plays into it a bit here. But also, the game experience as a whole, to compare it directly to Escape from Tarkov, feels way, way more polished than Tarkov has ever felt for me. Tarkov is a Unity engine-based game, and not to say that Unity can't produce good games, but Tarkov is creaky around the edges, and I think a lot of that has to do with its choice of engine, whereas here Gray Zone Warfare is making full use of Unreal 5 and looks and plays incredible. The game just has way more polish to it than I think any early access title like this has any right to have. After playing a solid 6 or 7 hours of this playtest, and again playing for the first time here with my squad, I came away quite impressed. To me, this game reminds me of Hunt Showdown back in 2018. Just really solid gameplay mechanics, a lot of polish, and it has a feeling to it like all it really needs is some more time and content. And although updates have been slow this year, this sizable Night Ops update is really impressive. And I think that if you bought this game, played it for a while, and found the pace of the updates to be frustrating, or you're like me and you just didn't have time to jump into it yet, it might be time to hop in and check it out. Just hold on to that expectation that this is an early access game and there's going to be a lot of content that is just not there yet. The game is definitely moving in the right direction though, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they do next. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time.